Hi, this is Michael William Denny of the ThunderWizard.com YouTube channel. So, today we're going to be talking about the rune GEBO. GEBO simply means gift. For those of you just joining this channel, I am sharing with you some of the thoughts that I've gained about the runes, having worked with them over the years, especially on my focus as a rune shaman and a spiritual counselor. One of the things I do for a living is that people call me on the phone and I give them spiritual advice. Many of them don't know that I am looking at the runes. GEBO. GEBO means simply gift. And this is one of the most interesting runes when it comes to our ancestors' way of life. Now, so let me share with you, you've probably heard me talk about this, but I think this is really important. You know, the ancient Germanic tribes people, and I'm talking like 2,000 years or more, at that time, the Germanic tribes people were seen in the same way that we view the uncontacted tribes in the Amazon. They were seen as the most primitive. And when the first Romans who went to actually spend time and study that culture, whether that's Tacitus or even Caesar himself, they would talk about them in the ways, again, the ways we would talk about Native Americans, how they would ride their horses bareback and they would, in the midst of gallop, jump off their horse and be able to shoot their arrows or whatever. They were these amazing tribal hunter-gatherer fighters. And one of the main tenets of the ancient Germanic civilization was of tolerance and love and freely giving. The trait of hospitality was actually seen as sacred, because for the ancient Germanic people, they didn't know if a stranger coming up to the door was one of the gods or an elf or a nature spirit. And so if a stranger came to your house asking for shelter or food, you were required to give it to them. And so many of the historians, including Tacitus describes how if you were, let's say, a visitor to the village, whoever was hosting you would first bring you into their home and give you a lavish feast and a party, and then they would go to everybody else's house. And it was just understood that this was part of your responsibility, that there was a lot of fellowship, of being with people. And if you went to somebody's house, even if you were a stranger, and you commented on something you liked, like if it was a plate or a knife or something like that, if you said, that's a very nice looking knife right there, they would be obligated to give it to you. But at the same time, they would expect you to give something in return. This is the idea of the equal exchange of energy. This is the rune of GEBO. So when we talk about gift, understand that gift meant that you gave something, but even the recipient was required to give something back. We have some rituals today, like if you give somebody a knife, the person who got the knife has to give you a coin so that the knife doesn't cut the friendship. These kinds of things. It's this equal exchange of energy. And this is a law of the universe. So when this rune comes up, I've learned there's some really specific things. Now, if somebody's talking about love and they want to know, what is this person thinking of me? If the rune GEBO comes up, the first thing I say is, well, they're looking at you as a friend. But it can also mean dating, like not a fully committed relationship, but dating, where there's this give and take of getting to know somebody. If I'm asking the universe to show the person what is the best way to deal with a problem at work, if the GEBO rune comes up, it means that you need to be able to do your job without any expectation of return, that you're there to give of your talent, and in exchange you get paid for being there. So these are just some of the things that come up when it comes to GEBO. GEBO, however, is coming directly off of what rune? Kenaj. When you're going through the first 8, You get to Kenaj, and then the first rune after that is GEBO, which means that you cannot really give of yourself until you have self-knowledge. Without self-knowledge, you don't even know what you're giving. That's why a lot of times when people in relationships especially, they get their feelings hurt or they get angry because the other person isn't doing what they want to do. But more times than not, they're not even really sure why they're upset. So unless you have knowledge of yourself, conscious awareness of what you're thinking and feeling, conscious awareness of what your agendas are with somebody, it's very difficult for you to be able to give because you don't know what it is you want to get back. But if you go into a relationship knowing exactly what you want to get back, then you can give freely of yourself because you know what to expect. So these are just some of the ways that GEBO works. It's also very important when it comes to spirituality. By the way, this is one of the major misconceptions about spirituality. People often say to me, it's usually younger people or people who have severe victim mentalities. They will say, why do you charge? You know, some people will say, why are you charging for Vedic astrological readings? It's like, well, because I spend a lot of time studying and because it takes me time to put the chart together and you're paying for my time. People don't get that. But if you ask, you know, how much did you pay for your cell phone or how much did you pay for your car, people don't, you know, they don't even think twice about that. So this idea of spirituality having to be free and that the teacher gives of themselves without getting anything in return, that is in violation of the GEBO Law, which is a law of the universe. The runes are laws of the universe. There has to be an equal exchange of energy. So without that knowledge, you can't know what it is that you're giving or that you want to get. So this is why GEBO comes after Kenaj. Anyways, so if you want to get deeper into the runes, we are actually in the midst of going very deep into the runes. We just finished talking about the Kenaj rune, and if you want to see the Master Shamanism class, please go ahead and follow this link right here, which will take you directly to that class. You can see which level of subscription works for you. And if you do want a Vedic astrological reading, by the way, this month, the month of April, only for this month, I've slashed my prices to $69. So jump on this while you can, because as soon as April is over, I'm going back up to my normal price, which is $108. And so if you want a Vedic astrological reading, follow this link right here. So that's it for now, my friends. Just remember, when it comes to GEBO, we need to live in that state of GEBO, that state of allowing life to flow through us. We have to give of ourselves. We also have to give of what the universe brings through us. That is the rule. And in exchange for that, the universe has to give back to you. So if you're living life and you feel like you're not getting, you just feel like you're putting out, there's something that you're not giving. There's something of your true self. You may be in the wrong job, when what you're supposed to do is be a poet or a healer, and instead you're working behind a computer screen or, you know, flipping burgers. Maybe you're supposed to not be a healer and you're supposed to flip burgers. Whatever it is that you're supposed to do, that is allowing the universe to flow through you. And when you do that, the universe always gives back. It's a law. It has to happen. That's it for now, my friends. Until next time, may the universe give back to you as you freely give of yourself.